We want to welcome you to the Global Harvest Prayer Room. This is in the GMMI Great Commission Equipping Center here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And this is a sacred space that has been set aside to seek the face of God for the purposes of global harvest, praying for the fulfillment of the Great Commission, praying for the global church to be mobilized and become alive. So we're excited about sharing the Global Harvest Prayer Room with you. Now, obviously, we can't physically come together because of the social distancing measures related to this pandemic. So because we can't physically come into this prayer room, we still want to offer the opportunities to connect via prayer. And so we'll still be hosting virtual prayer meetings related to the prayer room, but we also want to provide people some prayer points to focus in on. You can't physically come together, but in your own home, you can be seeking the face of God. And so we want to help you and serve you by providing some prayer points throughout the week. So we're going to do this twice a week. We're going to have 2 of these short videos posted so that people can have particular prayer points, and then they, on their own or with virtual groups that you might have, you can come together virtually online and you can be seeking the face of God related to these things. You know, we want to encourage people to be praying in this season. This is a great opportunity to respond to the Lord. This pandemic, this crisis, really, I believe God has set it up to call His people forth in wholehearted prayer, in radical prayer, that His church would arise. And you know what? It's starting to happen. We're hearing reports of believers praying like never before. So we want to encourage you, take time in this time of trouble to seek the face of God. So these short videos are a part of helping with that. Now, and when it comes to prayer, it's tempting, or when it comes to crises and how we respond in prayer, it's tempting for believers to get into a little bit of difficulty, and then our prayer lives begin to just focus on our particular issues in the crisis. And that's good. You know, we want to respond. There's a lot of troubles, a lot of problems. This is impacting people in significant ways. And we want to pray as individuals for those specific problems, that God would break in and deliver us. But at the same time, we also want to lift our eyes high to the glory of God and call forth the glory of what He wants to do through this global pandemic, this global crisis, calling those things forth. So let's not only focus in, I call it having tunnel vision. We kind of focus just on the things that are directly around us or influencing us, and that's good, that's right. But we want to also lift our eyes a little bit higher to some other things. Now, Jesus spoke into this very particularly in Matthew chapter 6, you know, the Lord's Prayer. This is Jesus teaching His people to pray, right? And this is how He says to pray. He doesn't say to start off praying for your own needs. He doesn't say to start off praying for your problems and for solutions to come to solve those problems. No, what does He say? He says at the beginning, Our Father in heaven. This is how we should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That gets our eyes off of our specific tunnel vision issues, and we see the glory. We say, Lord, release your glory on the earth. Let your name be exalted and hallowed among all the earth. So we're going to have 3 categories of prayer points that are going to show up each day. The first category is praying for His glory among the nations. We want to in many different ways. And today, I want you to just pray along this general line, praying for His glory among the nations in the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of the crisis. That God would use the crisis to draw unbelievers and unreached peoples even that are in very difficult circumstances, that their eyes would be turned towards God now in ways that they've never been before. A second category we want to pray into every day is now praying for the church also. So the first one, pray for His glory among the nations. That's mainly focused among unbelievers, praying for His glory among unbelievers and the unreached. Second category, praying for abandoned devotion in His church. We want to pray that God's church arises today like never before, seeking Him with a wholehearted love, walking in His levels or His terminology of discipleship, what He calls discipleship, not our own. what it looks like to be a true follower of Jesus. We want to pray for the whole global body to be growing up into this true Christianity, this true discipleship. Because if that happens, then as this pandemic subsides, the global church is stronger, and then we move forward towards the fulfillment of the Great Commission in significant ways. So the second category, and we'll pray into this in many different ways, prayer for abandoned devotion to be growing in His church. And then the third category, and this is particular for this time of pandemic that we're in, this time of crisis, we want to deliberately pray for the reducing of this virus outbreak. We want to see the numbers go down. We want to see the cases go down. We want to see the deaths go down. We want to see the economic destruction go down. Okay, so we're praying in that third category for an eradication, really, of this coronavirus outbreak. And we're going to pray into that day by day by day. Amen? So those are the three categories. All right, today I want to encourage you just to pray generally into each one of those three. And we'll have them here on the screen so you can see them. Get by yourself, get into your secret place, get together with others online, and seek the face of God related to these things. And then look later in this week for another one of these videos that will give specific prayer points into these three prayer categories. All right? Let's commit to seek the Lord together. We're alone in our houses. We're isolated. Some of us are bored, maybe a little lonely. Let's turn our eyes to Jesus and seek His face like never before. Amen. The Lord bless you.